If you'd rather fight a gorilla than step into a crowded room, congratulations. Your brain just activated survival mode. If crowded places drain you in seconds while everyone else seems energized, listen carefully because this isn't about anxiety, or being too sensitive, or needing to come out of your shell. It's about a psychological trait most people don't even know exists. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Imagine this. You walk into a packed room, music thumping, voices overlapping, laughter bouncing off the walls. Within moments, something inside you tightens. Not fear, not hatred. Overload. Meanwhile, everyone else looks fine, thriving. Even so, you wonder, what's wrong with me? Here's the twist. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is different, and it's rare. Psychology tells us that some brains don't filter reality. They absorb it. Every sound, every movement, every emotional signal enters at full volume. No dampening, no background blur, just raw data flooding in all at once. Most people's minds act like noise-canceling headphones. Yours acts like a high-definition recording studio. And that difference changes everything. This trait is known in psychology as sensory processing sensitivity. It doesn't mean weak nerves. It means deep perception. Your brain notices what others miss. Micro shifts in tone, tension in posture, the subtle emotional temperature of a room before anyone says a word. And while others glide through crowds unconsciously, your mind is working overtime, constantly decoding invisible signals. Here's the part nobody tells you. Your nervous system wasn't designed for modern chaos. It was designed for survival. Thousands of years ago, this trait kept humans alive. While louder, bolder personalities took risks, you would have been the one sensing danger before it arrived. Hearing what others ignored, seeing patterns before they became problems. Psychology research suggests roughly 1 in 5 people has this heightened sensitivity. That means if you're watching this and nodding along, you're part of a minority wired to perceive reality at a deeper resolution. But modern life doesn't reward perception. It rewards stimulation. Crowded concerts, open offices, endless notifications, constant social access. And your brain? It treats all of that like an attack. Here's where the internal conflict begins. Because the same mind that allows you to think deeply, feel intensely, and connect meaningfully, is the one that burns out fastest in overstimulating environments. So when you avoid crowded places, it's not avoidance. It's regulation. You're protecting a nervous system that processes more per second than most people ever will. And psychology confirms this. Highly sensitive individuals don't struggle because they lack social skills. They struggle because their brains refuse to ignore information. Now pay attention, because this next realization changes everything. Your mind doesn't just notice more. It stores more. That awkward moment from weeks ago everyone else forgot. Still archived. That strange look someone gave you, logged for future reference. Your brain is constantly pattern matching, trying to make sense of complex social data. That's not overthinking. That's advanced processing. But here's the danger. When you live in environments that never shut off, your system never recovers. And that's when exhaustion, withdrawal, and emotional numbness begin to masquerade as personality flaws. They're not flaws, they're warning signs, and we haven't even touched the most misunderstood part yet. The reason crowds don't reward you the way they reward others. Because the chemical driving your motivation is completely different. And once you understand that, everything finally clicks. Here's the part psychology rarely explains clearly, and once you hear it, you'll stop blaming yourself forever. Crowds don't exhaust you because you lack energy. They exhaust you because your brain is chasing a different reward system. Most people are powered by dopamine. Dopamine loves novelty, noise, movement, social validation. That's why packed rooms feel exciting to them. Their brains light up like slot machines. Yours doesn't. Your brain runs primarily on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter tied to depth, focus, reflection, and meaning. Psychology research shows this chemical rewards quiet insight over loud stimulation, inner worlds over outer chaos. So when you're in a crowd, your brain isn't celebrating. It's asking, where's the substance? Where's the signal beneath the noise? And when it doesn't find it, it shuts down. This is why a single deep conversation can energize you for days. But 2 hours at a party can leave you feeling hollow, disconnected, and strangely tired. Your mind isn't built for surface-level interaction. It's built for depth extraction. Neuroscience backs this up. Introverted and highly sensitive individuals often show increased activity and, even thicker, gray matter in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part responsible for long-term planning, self-awareness, and complex thinking. Translation: when it looks like you're doing nothing, your brain is doing its most important work. But there's another layer most people never notice. You don't just process environments deeply, you process people deeply. Psychology calls this heightened mirror neuron activity. In simpler terms, you don't observe emotions, you absorb them. Walk into a crowded room and your nervous system starts downloading everyone else's emotional data. Stress, excitement, insecurity, ego, anxiety, all at once. That's why you feel off without knowing why you sense tension before arguments happen, why fake enthusiasm feels physically uncomfortable. You're not imagining it. Your emotional radar is just calibrated higher than average. And this is where crowds become dangerous, not socially, but psychologically. Because when you're surrounded by unmanaged emotions, your system tries to manage all of them, not consciously. That's why you need solitude afterward, not because you dislike people, but because your nervous system needs to purge emotional noise that was never yours to carry. Psychology research consistently links this trait to higher emotional intelligence, empathy, and intuition. You read between the lines. You sense what's unsaid. You notice when energy shifts before words do. But here's the final truth most people never reach. Society praises visibility, volume, constant presence, and quietly shames those who step back. So people like you grow up thinking something is missing, that you should want more noise, more crowds, more stimulation. But psychology tells a different story. The world needs people who can sit in silence and see clearly, who notice patterns others miss, who feel deeply enough to understand complexity, who aren't distracted by the performance. Crowds aren't your weakness, they're simply not your fuel. Your strength lives in clarity, in insight, in depth. And once you stop forcing yourself into environments that drain you, something unexpected happens. Your energy returns, your creativity sharpens, your intuition strengthens. You stop surviving stimulation and start thriving in meaning. So if you've ever felt broken for hating crowded places, psychology has an answer. You're not broken, you're rare. And once you honor how your mind actually works, you stop trying to become louder and start becoming powerful.